Hi, Life Church, and Pastor Travis. I want to share today some verses out of Romans 10, and we'll start in verse 3, and it says, "For they don't understand God's way of making people right with himself. Refusing to accept God's way, they cling to their own way of getting right with God by trying to keep the law. For Christ has already accomplished the purpose for which the law was given. As a result, all who believe in him are made right with God." And at this time frame, most of the Jewish people at that time, they were following the Levitical law or the covenant law of Moses at that time. And we look at it and we think like the 10 Commandments, and for them it was much more than just the 10 Commandments. But on a scale, they're looking at the 10 Commandments, they're saying, well, we have to follow these exactly. And when Christ came, he wasn't saying that those 10 Commandments don't matter. And he was saying that in all of it, there's a way that connects our hearts, and it goes after the heart of man, and it connects the heart of man with God, not just our actions. And I think so often in today's world and society, we've kind of gone even further than the Romans have, right? And the Jews of that time period. And the Jews of that time period, they were looking at it as like, we have to follow these laws. And so often I think in today's culture, we've gone so far to where we don't have to follow the laws because our heart's right, because we're connected with Christ. And I think that Jesus was really trying to tie the two together here when he came, because we don't see him not following the laws. We don't see Jesus not living that example. But so often we've got it messed up to where our thinking is because of our connection with Christ that the law doesn't matter, or that we don't have to live righteously or what God has called us for. But the reality is that Jesus lived that way, but he wanted the connection of the heart with man. And so Jesus' whole entire thing is connecting his heart with us, and it's our belief on that. And so much about what we do and honoring him with that means that we don't have to worry about not being connected, our hearts not being connected because of our faults and because of our sinful nature, because of the issues that we have on this world. But when we just trust in him and we believe on him, and then when our heart is right, we start to do the things that he desires. We start to live out those commandments, not because they're commandment, but because our heart desires to seek after the things of God. Our heart desires to do what he's called us to. And so I just want to share with you, like, if you're ever struggling with some of those things, just trust God and trust that you can believe by your heart on those things, but also trust that that's his heart and that you can connect with his heart and that you can trust with him on that. But also that those 10 commandments and those other commandments, they're also important though, that they actually have values and matters to them. And when we continue to strive towards those things and continue to strive towards what Jesus has for us in those areas, it starts to align our hearts even more with him. And so just keep your heart correct and connected with him. So thank you.